I'm live. Hello. Welcome. Welcome to my last minute costuming stream. This is spooky. And actually, let me just see if that makes things better or worse. Oh, let me just turn it down ever so slightly. Oh, and there's people here. Welcome. Hello, the 45th clown. All right, so today what we're working on is Harley Quinn. I am doing the animated Harley Quinn reference photo. Let me pull that up because I will need it today. This is the version I'm doing. So, um, so why am I doing this? Okay, because I put out a poll on the Odin Makes Discord and let people vote on my Halloween costume for the Halloween live stream. And Harley Quinn was the winner. And that's the one costume that I didn't have that was on the list. Kind of another one, but I could make it happen easier. So, of course, this one won, which I'm actually really excited about. And I started working on it and realized I probably should go live and do this. But I did the patterning stuff before because it's a little bit boring watching me just do math. But I made my patterns and I'm really kind of proud of how they turned out because I eyeballed them. I'm not going to lie. I didn't measure a thing on this outfit and I got this. My patterns are really ugly, but the shape is right. So the first pattern piece that I had to figure out was the legs. Now, Harley Quinn does not have a natural waistline, and it's not even a drop waistline. It's a empire waistline, so it's just below the bust, right here, exactly. Anyways, so I patterned it, and originally my pattern, kind of right where this blue line is, was where it stopped. But I'm making this project using free fabric, and that means that there's some technical issues that I get to deal with. So the red that I have is a 4-way stretch. The black that I have is a 2-way stretch. What is a stretch? 2-way what? So I'm doing this out of a stretch knit, and I was given free fabric from my friend James. Thank you, James. I appreciate you. And these were the fabrics I chose. I went with a crushed velvet because it was gorgeous and I loved it. And the black, it stretches one way very easily, but the other direction, it doesn't stretch at all. So see how hard I'm pulling on this and it's not going anywhere? And see how easily I pull on this and it completely stretches? Focus goes crazy too. So this knit is lovely, but it only stretches in 2 directions. This knit, which I am absolutely in love with, look how gorgeous and rich this color is. It stretches all the directions. So there's definitely a stretchier way, as all knits have, which you go around the body. But free fabric is free fabric. Can't talk. Free fabric is free fabric. So that is what I'm working with within those parameters. So I patterned the whole thing to be with a 2-way stretch instead of the 4-way stretch. Why does this matter in the patterning stage? Let me explain to you. So I patterned it out and I cut it out and then I tried it on. And if this was, and I did it out of the 2-way stretch because it's the more difficult of the 2 fabrics. The 4-way stretch will do the things that the 2-way stretch will do, but the 2-way stretch will not do the things that the 4-way stretch will do. So I did it out of the more tricky fabric, plus that's the one I had extra of, and I only have a little bit of the red. So made mock-ups. This one is a nice high-waisted pant. It was where this blue line originally was, where this pattern piece originally was. And had this been out of a 4-way stretch, this pattern would have been perfect. But because it's like a 2-way stretch, when you stretch it, it gets shorter. Like, because it doesn't stretch up and down. So you are losing your comfort of your bodysuit of being able to lean forward, and you know, the shoulder to crotch depth really matters because it'll be really uncomfortable to generally move because it only stretches in this direction and not in this direction whatsoever. So it gets shorter. So even though this is the length of my leg plus about 4 inches longer, and it's about 4 inches higher than my waist, so technically it should come up to here. When I put this on, it is exactly the length of my leg without that extra length that I added for hem, because I always go overboard because you never know. And the extra that I added onto the waistline just ended up being exactly at the waistline. So then I calculated that in, added to the top of my pattern, and I made this jumpsuit where you guys can't see it, but the seam is right here where it needs to be, and it's all the way up top, and it fits without the weird gappage that always happens right here on an ill-fitting suit. Worked in the costume shop, have a background in gymnastics and dance, and I've been using a lot of dance wear, athletic wear, costumes, and if you get a two-way stretch knit unitard like this is, if you don't fit it properly, you can have very uncomfortable situations. So very glad that this turned out great. But so I added the length, and this is my pattern piece. This is the back seam, this is the front seam, and this is the suit it ended up making. It looks giant, it looks weird. Like I said, I added 4 inches so it would be higher, but I added another 4 inches so that it would fit when stretched out. I'm gonna need that. No, I'm not. I'm gonna use the other piece. So anyways, figured that out. And then I did the same thing with the bodice. I figured out my pattern, drafted it up to my measurements to make just a basic block, and figured after to figure out where I needed it to end, I would just put it on and pin it. And that's what, it still has this pin in it, but I adjusted. And now these two pieces, because this one's too long and this one's too long, it fits me perfectly right at the natural waistline, not at the umpire waistline, but at the natural waistline. So I'm gonna sew these together and have a second bodysuit. Yeah, but this is my toile. Toile, what's a toile? Fancy word for a prototype. And I'm wearing my prototype. I'm gonna have 2 prototypes when I'm done with this. Why not just make it out of the real fabric and just save yourself time? And because I only have so much of the red. I only have this piece. I have a ton of black, but I only have this piece of red. So I wanted to make sure that I did it right, figured out the patterns before I wasted my good fabric. So this is my kind of diagram to figure out which side's black and red. And yes, this is my pattern piece for the bodice. It's just a stretch knit pattern, so there's no darting. And yeah, and it's actually my front and my back, which is a big, it's fine, fits, it's comfortable. Goes up in the back, we good. And then I took this pattern and I came up with a neckline pattern for the front and then the double one for the back. And they fit together. You guys cannot see that because there's too much bright light, but this has seam allowance, so it'll be slightly thinner than it finished, but I will have a collar. And look at this ugly pattern. See this ugly pattern? This is a stretched out piece, not barbed wire for decoration, warning you not to use it. Ended up making this smooth. I feel like I could be the evil queen from Snow White in this, but I'm going to use this for my lining instead of just a 12. But I figured out all the things. I could have gone tighter, but why though? It would have just been uncomfortable. So I'm going to use this for a lining. I know there's ever so slightly a peak in the front, but I can fix that by sewing a straight line. So I will be reusing that. And my sleeve pattern. Again, I had to overdo the length of my sleeve because it gets shorter when it gets stretched. But I feel like these sleeves are comfortable, they're good. And so I have all the fitting issues out of the way and I'm ready to actually make my costume. And I have today to do it because the live stream's on Sunday. I just did a fun project the last couple of days and I finally got off that. My brain is now here. So I'm gonna put these here for now in my project bin. And that's my snood. That's my bodice and pants. So this is, I cut out one of my legs already when I was cutting out my fabric, but I might have to recut this out because if you look at this, you know what? That's not that big of a difference in color. A lot of times when you do velvet and you, oh, these are the same direction, and then this is it upside down. Oh yeah, I did it this way so it would look darker because it's against the grain, against the nap. So what's the nap? What am I talking about? This is velvet, so it's like a fur. It has hair on it, and the hair will naturally fall in one direction, naturally. And so it's like those sequins when they're one way, you can see the picture one color, and when it's the picture goes the other way. When it goes down, it's smooth, so it gives a more reflective, shiny surface. So it reflects more light. But when you flip it the other way, it's darker because you're seeing the underside of the hair. So anyways, I cut this in the opposite direction that I cut this one. That's why I put it to the side. And I was like, you know what? It's just your leg. Maybe you'll save fabric. And it's blacker that way. But the perfectionist in me thinks that the nap all needs to go down. So we will see. I have to cut it out of the red, and I have plenty of black, so I might as well cut it out the direction I want it. Oh, pair of leggings, reference leggings. There might be another pair in there. Nope, that's all fabric. Okay. Well, hello, James Allen. Welcome. And Big Bob's Props. Welcome. Okay, now let me orient. I'll put this on project bin and keep this here. Okay, where am I? Where's my top? Where's my bottom? Which way does my grain go? Orient myself. Okay, so this is going this direction. This is my selvage edge. And the nap goes this way, is the way it goes smooth. If I push it this way, I'm going against the grain. This way, I'm going with the grain. There are imperfections on this piece of fabric, like I said. Free, I'm not going to complain. So I just have to be aware of that when I'm cutting. And you know what? I think this is the nicer side, so I will cut it out of the nicer side. Make sure that we're long enough to fit everything. Put the computer over out of the way. Okay. And this is why I usually cut things out on the floor so I can just spread out. But I got this. I'll be civilized. Okay. Okay. Front, back, straight of grain. This one ever so slightly. really, I don't need two of these. I don't have to cut it on the fold. I can just cut one out. That's why one says black and one says red. So the red one, right side up, right side up. I'm a genius. I'm so used to cutting two of everything that I just go into old habits. All right, let me see. Go. One down. Direction goes smoothly this way. So my top is this way, my bottom's this way, because if I go the other direction, look at the change of color. Same exact fabric. This is with the nap going this way, and this is with the nap going this way. Crazy, right? Okay, so this is going to be my top, and that is going to be my bottom. And let me grab pant leg I already cut out. Because it's velvet, if I put the velvet face down on the velvet, I will know I have the opposite side, so I don't have to figure out my left and right again. Because of course I didn't notch it, I just, like I said, I eyeballed the pattern. And I think it turned out really good. So, okay, instead of doing it on the fold, I'm just gonna cut it out this way. Okay, we are good. Everything is smooth. I'm just gonna cut it out. I am so not used to sitting down and cutting. I need to be able to walk all the way around my table. I'll move, not the fabric. Ooh, 45th Clown says, I cut some leather out on my floor and I have a nice 3-inch scratch where I went past my mat. Yeah, I don't recommend rotary tools or razor blades on the floor. More of a scissors person myself, but I just destroyed a table yesterday. Yeah. It was an outside craft table, but I didn't have a mat, and I was cutting things out with I was cutting out craft foam, and I was using a blade, and I etched my patterns into that table. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna sew as I go, so I feel like I'm making progress. Now, with pants, I can leave it together like this and sew the front and the back seam, and then pull it apart and sew down the center of the seam. And that's how I did this one. But the other one, I did it the correct way. And I think I prefer the correct way. What's the correct way? I'll explain it in just a second. Here's sewing machine. Okay. I love using sergers with knits, but because I'm live, I'm not going to use a serger live. I just can't deal with the pressure of the threads and forgetting to put the, but anyways, so I'm just going to be using my sewing machine, but I'm going to be using my stitch number 7, which is a weird looking zigzag, which is kind of like a mock serger edge. It gives me the straight stitch with the finished edge, and it gives me the flexibility. So it finishes my seam all in one stitch. And I did this whole thing using it, actually. I threw the cowl inside of, oh, here. I did this in purple because I didn't feel like wasting my thread. But it's just, that's the stitch I'm doing on the edges, and it's stretchy. Oh, that doesn't stretch in that direction. It stretches this way. But it's a stretchy finished edge that can completely replace the serger edge. And since I'm the only one that's going to see the inside of this, it's finished enough for me. Okay, let me see, number 7. And then I turned up the stitch to the longest length. Okay, so this is my center back seam. This is my center front seam. So I could start with sewing them because they're already together and pin them like that, but I'm not going to. So what I am going to do is take the legs apart, and I'm going to fold it into a tube, matching right at the bottoms of each of those curves and at the base of the ankle. And that is my inside seam leg seam. I'm going to start with that seam first. I'm going to sew from the crotch down to the leg because that's the important seam to line up, and I can always fix the hem. So I always go from top to bottom the best that I can. All right, I have this set up. Presser foot. And I know I could use pins, and I might stick one in, but just one pin at the bottom. Okay. When I'm sewing with this fabric, I have to hold my threads at the end. Oh, is my sewing machine even threaded correctly? Yes, that is right. Okay. I have to hold my sewing machine threads at the end as I start going. Otherwise, I'll get that little knot at the very beginning and I won't start sewing. Like that. Lift it up, go a few little. When sewing with it, you really have to take it easy at the start. Once you get going, you're fine, but it will push into the feed dogs. What do I mean? Sometimes when you have nice fabrics, the needle will just start pushing it into the feed dogs, which will start thinking it's thread, and then you get this jumbled knot of thread at the very beginning of your project before you can even get it going. Happens with knits a lot. You really just got to hold your threads, and it solves that issue. stitch at the end. I didn't lock it at the beginning because I know this fabric, it gets knotted in it. So I already have a knot by just starting it. But now I have this leg seam and it is stretchy and it is not going to pop. Let me double check. There's a spot that I wasn't sure if I got. Oh, I'm good. Okay. Let me do the other leg. So this is my pattern piece. It looks, you can't really see it with me standing behind it because I'm wearing the exact same fabric. I'm just grabbing the ends of these little hooks, right sides together, matching them up, and then also the end of the ankles, matching it up at the ankle. I don't really need a pin at the start because that's where I start, but I do like having a pin at the end so that I can keep on track. Hold the threads. I like to put the pin at the end so that as I'm stretching knits, the feed dogs push the fabric more than the top does. I have a little bit of Teflon tape at the top at my presser foot so that it smooths over my fabric easily, and I let the feed dogs just kind of eat the fabric, but having the pin at the end makes sure that my tension is equal, so as I'm sewing, I can just make sure that it's gathering the under part up into my top without actually gathering it, because knits will gather more than you want, and you don't really want it to do that. So you just, I keep one pin at the end just so I can keep readjusting it. I used to pin the whole thing, but I don't like taking pins in, and it takes forever to put the pin. It adds 15 to 20 minutes, which can save time in complicated projects. So it's worth it, but it's cost. I am kidding. And back stitch at the end. Okay. You know, a good seamstress would trim her threads as she's sewing, but I don't want my thread numbers, so it's annoying. They're not right where they need to be. There you go. Okay. Now, one I'm going to leave inside out, one I'm going to turn right side out. I'm going to leave the red inside out, and I'm going to turn the black right side out. So, because it's harder to see. So I have the right side out of the black, and the red is inside out. I'm going to stick this leg inside of this leg. And And then I am going to show you what I'm doing. Okay. Right sides together, line up the center crotch seam. What the heck am I doing? Okay, so here are my pant legs. They're lined up on the inside, so they're the same shape. Inside's black, outside's red, and I'm lining up this giant circle. This is the more complicated, annoying way to do it, but I have a reason. So it fits your body better. That's the reason. It fits your curves, it sews it in the right direction. Order of operations matters. There are times when I do it the other way. There are times when I do it this way. And you know what? It's worth it to do it with the leg inside the leg. And it's actually not that complicated. I know it's a curve. Straight lines are easier. And the other way is sewing 3 straight lines. And this is sewing 2 straight lines and a really big curve. But it's worth it. So front, I am going to pin this just so that I'm not slipping around. And hopefully it can go a little faster, but we'll see. Speed sewing contest. Anxiety that it's not going to go together. But then when the edges line up, my math was right. I feel like I did the puzzle pieces, I made them, they work. Okay, I can relax. And this seemed to line up just easy. So inside, see. So this is my pair of pants, and I'm going to be sewing this, see, front and back. Okay. Start as nicely as I can on top because we are going to see where everything lines up, and I want it to do it nicely. I did do my back stitch, but it started to eat it, so I was like, all right, I'll just take a little bite forward. Don't worry, we're just live watching me sew this, but it's coming together still. This is the crotch seam, and I just really like it if it lines up and not like funky. I know I could add a gusset, but I already drafted the pattern. I just don't want it to. little stretched out right about here, but it's nothing that's that big of a deal. So now it's all sewn together. I can reach in and pull out a bunny rabbit. No, now I have a pair of pants. Instead of just two separate pants, I have a pair of pants. I'm gonna turn the whole thing inside out. Ta-da! Oh, those are fun colors together, black and the red. Oh, wow, this is so dark. I love it. Okay. Put this off. And pants are done. Halfway there, right? No. Let me bodice. We'll do that later. Sleeve. Diagram. Okay. This might be hard to show you guys on camera just because of the beautiful color of this crushed velvet. But when you don't know the front and the back from your pants, there's a simple trick. You hold it at the waistband and you shake it. And this little thing will poke out, and that's the back. It'll flip out to the back. Every time, no matter what pair of pants it is. The back is this side. This is the front, and it'll just lay flat in the front. But so if you get disoriented and you're like, where's my front, where's my back? That is how you tell, is you get a little tail. Okay. Let me just bang my chair. Okay. That's what I was going to check, the front and back. Okay, so where's my front? Where's my back? So my back, my pants, this leg is the red leg, this leg is the black leg. So I need to do this side, the red side, and this side, the black side. Just double checking because it would really suck to get it all cut and sewed together and then it's all red on one side. Just saying. So if I'm to sew this side up, red. I'm gonna get their front, the same front and anyways. The front and the back are the same. So it's honestly not that big of a deal because it's more the direction that I sew it. But I'm gonna need one red sleeve and one black sleeve. Let me cut it out of the black first because it's right here. Now I am going to cut two of these on the fold. Well, cut two on the fold because my front and back are the same piece. Here's my selvage edge. Fold it. Make sure I am nice and flat. My grains are straight. Okay. Cut one of these out on the fold. Let me make sure that, okay. Not on the fold, cutting them out. It's not cut on fold, it's cut two separate ones. There is a difference. Spider's a little big for a pattern. Wait for this pattern. But at least you're there. Okay. you guys can hear that, but I love the crunch of scissors cutting up fabric. It's one of my favorite sounds. Go to sleep to that. Just have it on. YouTube to fall asleep to. Whoops, I spilled my pins. Oh no. Hold on. So weird cutting my fabric out sitting down on a table. It's just not normal. Oh, so much better. Okay. Okay. Oh. Dan Does Junk. Hi, Ish. I just got home. Welcome, Dan Does Junk. 45th Clown. Is the material slippery when sewing? Yes and no. So when I have the two same fabrics together, when I have self fabrics together and they're the same napped, so the nap's going the same direction, they stick together nicely and they stay together as I'm sewing. Now, if the naps are different, they slip. And that's what happened with the pants. I had sewn the red with the nap the correct way and the black with the nap the opposite direction because I was trying to deepen the black. So the it's like black but blacker. I wanted to make a richer black, so I did it upside down. But granted, seeing how this is photographing, this is with it in the right direction nap, it doesn't matter. But I had, so it is not slippery when they're the same and they're together. Oops. But it is slippery when the naps are sliding against each other because they just slip and slide as opposed to walk. Yeah. So I did this one cut out the same direction as I cut out the pants. So the opposite. So my blacker's black because here it is. One direction, the other direction. This side is going to be the shinier side because the nap's all going this direction. This side's going to be blacker because the nap's all going this direction and we're looking into the shadows. Ooh, spooky, huh? Okay, so black fabric. I need to sleep. Let me get to sleep real quick. Without being wasteful. Here we go. This is the side of the fabric I'm working off of. Can you tell? All my stringy pieces. Anyways. All right, I did this sleeve pattern on a fold because my front and back bodice piece are the same. So my sleeve curve is the same front and back. Again, this is a knit, so I can get away with doing these on a woven. This isn't gonna fly, but on a knit, I love these sleeves. They work great. Perfect, not too baggy, not too tight. So you have to know the rules in order to break them, and I broke this rule, but consequences aren't bugging me. Okay. Dan Does Junk. I literally just finished my costume. I had one more line to draw on it with a Sharpie. Nice. Congratulations. I can't wait to see it on Sunday. Okay, just because this is on the fold, I'm going to pin it. I never pin fabric to my pattern pieces. It feels weird. It's a texture thing, not a practicality thing. Ouch. Okay. Dan Does Junk. How does that poke happen? Are you planning it out when you sew it together? Okay. So front crotch goes, back crotch has a booty to go over. So your curves are going to be shallower in the front and deeper in the back, just in general. So when it hangs, naturally, it's going to just push all the excess fabric to the back. That's why that trick works. you have to plan it out because you have to make sure that your measurements are correct in the front and correct in the back, that you have enough room to go up and around all your curves. Part of the reason why I like sewing it in the U shape versus the straight line when attaching my pant legs together. So every pair of pants is going to do that, including leggings. Tights now, because they're just tubes done up a thing. But if you're, I have a pair of Santa pants. These are Santa Claus pants. They literally look like a sack. Take them, wrinkle them up, go any direction. So we are sideways, no crotch seam. And then I will grab my side seams, give it a shake. And the front has the drawstring, so it's flat. The back has a little tail because that's the back. So even giant pajama pants, leggings, dress pants, while you're sewing, it's just a really easy trick to know where you're at without having to line up your patterns back down and say, okay, here's my front seam and here's my back seam, because they are just like kind of similar looking curves, and the front seam's the shorter curve and the back seam's the larger curve. Okay, I can get this cut out. James Folks, welcome. How's it going? It's going great. I'm getting costume made. I have pants, so that is better than no pants. Yanalith, so glad I didn't miss this. How's everyone? Hello, Yanalith, welcome. Dan does Junks. Now, how do I stop putting shirts backwards, even after looking at the marking to make sure I don't? T-shirts, the back neckline's the higher one. The front neckline's the lower one. When you hold it up, you can see the back from the front, even on like flats. Now, when you started getting into women's blouses, that rule goes out the window. But general rule, the difference between my front bodice and my back bodice would be the neckline. So I just did the front and back neckline the same on this pattern. And I did this t-shirt style sleeve instead of it's a set-in sleeve, but it's more, it's even on the front and back as opposed to putting the extra on the back for the movement because it's such a tight-fitting knit. So, yeah. Not top, I noticed the back neckline on t-shirts that have a little padding on the back inside. Oh yeah, the little facing. Yep. Because as human beings, our necks get soiled probably the most, and we have the ribbing that tends to be on it. So it's kind of a comfort and a hygiene thing. It's interesting. Yeah. Well, Dan, I've purposely worn shirts backwards. But that's because sometimes I just want to see the back of a shirt instead of the front. Okay, that really didn't take me that long to cut out a sleeve. I was distracted. Ouch. Thank you for distracting me. Okay, so I have one sleeve in black. Get this cut out of the red. And again, I don't have to worry about cutting it out left or right because they are ambidextrous at the moment. Don't worry, I'm just live. Okay. All right, this does matter. So this is my top. And my black is still the correct way. There we go. Putting putting the right sides together, the fibers walk way easier than if I put the wrong sides together, they're slipperier. Blech. I cannot speak. I must say that I love working with stretch velvets. I love it. Real velvet, on the other hand, is the biggest pain butt to work with, and it's not my favorite thing, but it's so beautiful that I will put up with it and do it anyways. But stretch velvet, it's my favorite. If I have enough of this red left over, I want an ice skater dress out of it. Like the empire waist with a full circle skirt, about knee length, long sleeve, out of the red crushed velvet. Wear it with a denim jacket and a big old 80s scrunchie. But yeah, if I have enough, I want this as a dress. But first, Harley Quinn. That's why I got the fabric. Okay. Fabric can go in there. Sleeve pattern. Sleeve pattern. This is my bodice. This is my bodice. This is my sleeve. This is my sleeve. I did not cut out a bodice of the red. I get so distracted, but I got 2 sleeves, so there's that. The bodice looks so tiny. Sleeves, and here's the red one. Okay. I know there's like a stain right here at the front, so I want to be careful of that. Okay, make sure my nap is going in the correct direction. How pretty it is. I should have done this upside down just with how crazy it's looking on camera, but it's rather the other way, and I will go with it. Do you guys like my pattern weight? I have real ones. I do. They're nice. As much as I enjoy the sound of scissors crunching through fabric, my favorite way to cut out fabric is to use a rotary cutter. That's meant for fabric, electric, not a handheld one. Those things, I feel like I do the worst job. But the electric ones, I absolutely love them. All right, hold on one second. Let me get this. Dan does joke. I like that you're going with a velvet with a pattern instead of just plain red and black. And I'll bet it'll be comfy too. Bingo. Okay, so we had this at the costume shop. We had this costume out of red stretch velvet. It wasn't a crushed velvet. It was just a red velvet. It was beautiful. It was comfortable. It was a great costume. And James, the owner of that costume shop, who no longer owns the costume shop, who sold it and retired, he let me go shop his fabrics, knowing exactly what I was looking for. And when I saw this red, I was like, that's what we have to go with. And then we found this black velvet, which was like, it's the best we can find. But free fabric, and I think it's gorgeous. And I like the texture, I like the color, and I like velvet on camera in general. So, all right. If I drew this picture for a reason. I have the digital image to stare at, but okay. I want this one to be red, and I want this one to be black. Okay, so I cut the bodice upside down against the grain instead of with the grain. How bad is it going to look? How bad is it going to look? I'll recut one. I don't care. Yeah, it's significantly brighter. I can't do that. That's the right color. Oopsie daisy. Oh well. Let me throw this one over there, so I'm not going to use it. Shh, don't tell. So I don't accidentally pick it up at all any point in this project. And let me go back to where I was. All right, try this again. Velvet's going this direction. I said it the whole time, and then I go and do that. Okay. It's the wrong way. All right. Try this end. Okay. This is my top. Round two. Round two. Don't worry, we're live. Okay. Okay. Why am I kidding? I need to stand up and do this. Okay. This is the wrong color one. Wrong color. Like I said, pin on it so I don't want to mix them up. try this again. Picture. Red is on this side, black is on nope. It's the other way. Black on this side, red on this side. This matches this. Red, black. Said it out loud. All right, now the right sides together and make my center front. I'm not doing it on the back because I'm leaving the back seam open for the moment because it's not. Okay. Turn this back on. Stitch number 7, full length. Start at the center front top and then I'll work my way down. Center front seam, so, ooh, so shiny. I love it. All right, not doing the center back seam. Next seam is the shoulder seam. So I'm glad I put a pin in this, not the one I want. Stay. Okay. I am going to put right sides together and sew the shoulder. And I am using stitch number 7, which is a sewing machine kind of style overlock stitch. And the black shoulder seam. H70 Polo, thank you for going live. The world could always use more beauty. Oh, thank you. I definitely have gotten out of the habit of going live. And it's a little hard to do again when you stop doing it for a bit. So thank you. Dan does junk. I know you'll get it done in time, but still, you're crazy for trying to do it. You are crazy for trying to, in the short amount of time you have left. Sorry, there's a heart little emoji thing like blocking half that comment on my computer screen. And I know I could adjust things, but I'm not. But yeah, no, I know I'm crazy. But the thing is, this whole suit pattern thing, I patterned it in an hour and a half, like having it to finished at this point. Like, so I know I could do it if I didn't go live. I'll just see how much I can finish while I'm actually live. And whatever else that doesn't end up happening, I'll do on my own time. And you'll see the finished results on Sunday. have front and back. Okay, and just because now I'm paranoid, let me just confirm. Tis opposites. Tis opposites. Yes, and they're the right shades. It makes a difference. Okay, now we did the shoulder seams. Let's add the sleeves. I know people think this is the tricky part, but it's not that hard once you've done it a few hundred times like I have. It only took a couple hundred times, that's all. Okay. I push the shoulder seams to the back, just out of habit. And since I can't split the seam, this one is into the back. And I have hardly any pins, so this should be interesting. James Allen Con Crunch. Life of a costumer. Yeah. People don't come into the costume shop early. They usually come in last minute. So, all right, when I am pinning a sleeve, I go from, what am I doing? This is my sleeve hole, and I'm pinning my sleeve, which is this lovely bell shape, right sides together, and these points of my bell right here, those are getting pinned right at the end of my sleeve on both ends, and then I start pinning towards my center, because typically in patterns on sleeves, you want the fullness at the top, and you want it to fit perfectly under your armpit, because you don't want gathers under your armpits. You want them on your sleeve top because of the shape of your arm in your sleeve. So long story short, start from the outside, work your way in, and smoosh it, and then you smoosh it, and then it works. True story. Dan does junk. I honestly should have recorded making my costume. Video opportunity missed. I get that, but done is done, and you have it. So, you know, we do our best. We really do. We try. Okay, so I am probably going to screw this up because I don't have nearly enough pins, because I threw most of my pins on the floor earlier. But like I said, you smoosh it and you smoosh it and you smoosh it. We don't want the sleeve hole gathering into the arm cap. We want the arm caps gathering into our sleeve hole. So the arm cap goes on top. No, your sleeve hole goes on top, arm cap goes under, because the feed dogs, which are the little things in your sewing machine right here, they will push the fabric in. That will add the gather and the smooshing that you need. So here's my pinned thing. This is my sleeve right here. This is my armhole on top, sleeve on the bottom. Fullness towards that direction. I say it out loud because it is not intuitive. You think it is, but it is not. All right. Okay. See how this goes. There's my spider. Stay. Dan does junk. More like live stream crunch, or Halloween crunch. That's why we're having that live stream. So the costume I made didn't think about anyone has done before, but I think it would be anyone's list of cosplays, to be honest. So it might be the only one in existence. Ooh, sounds exciting. Did you at least take photographs of the progress as it was going on, so you could at least share that? I don't know. Oh, look it. I put in a sleeve and I made it look easy. Yes, I did it the t-shirt way, but like I said, I'm working with knits. So we have a sleeve attached. Yay! Let's do the other side. Oh, you know what? Let me fix that while I see it. I missed a spot, so I figured it doesn't hurt to redo it now as opposed to trying to go back in and do it once. Dan does junk. I didn't document anything of it. Do you at least have the patterns? And you did the original prototype, so if you really wanted to, you can go back into it. But I know how you feel. I did that with the Krusty the Clown doll. It was because it was a Christmas present that I was like, I'm not going to record this. And then I took a few in-progress photos, but I regret it because I think it turned out really cool. Yeah, so I understand. Although now that I've done it, it doesn't seem such a daunting task. And I'm like, oh yeah, I could totally do that again. Quickly too. So but it's hard redoing a project you've already finished, especially when you turned out well and you like it. Like, I don't want to go back to square one. Okay. I make progress when I'm not talking. Okay. Seam allowance towards the back. Okay. Again, putting the sleeve cap down, bodice on the top. Excess fullness that way. Sometimes you have to pre-think this while you're pinning of which way it's going to go on the sewing machine because of the way you put your pins in the direction. But I always pick my pins stabbing straight directly out so I can make that decision later because it's not always intuitive. And if I have all my pins going the wrong way, I'm not going to repin it. And I will just go and suffer and pin the whole out backwards, which is never fun. back now. Welcome back. And 45th Clown, it's lovely seeing you stream again. It's 12:35 here, so good night from me. Thankfully, I can watch the rest tomorrow. Thanks for all the informative tips. Well, thank you for joining me, even though it's midnight, wherever you are. Well, past midnight. Catch you on the replay. All right, now I have this piece. That's going to be like this. So now it's time to do the underarm seams. This usually only takes about 3 pins because I pin here, here, and here. And those places, if they don't line up, are my issues. Those places. Armpit, the starting and the ending. So for seam allowance for the sleeves, I sew it that direction. Why do I sew the sleeve seam allowance that direction? Because when you put your arm in your sleeve, you push it that way. And it's not going to be pushing up against you, and it's going to be comfortable longer. So just in general, I have direction, like shoulder seam to the back, the seam to the back or towards the wrist. Keeps it all neat. Okay. Yanalith, good night, and thanks, Felicia. I had a classic chicken sandwich from BK. Sounds good. Yanalith, what version of Harley Quinn are you making? I'm making Harley Quinn from the animated series. I have it up here on my phone. This one. So that is the one I am currently working on. But in crushed velvet. Because crushed velvet. Okay. So for this one, I'm going to be sewing from the wrist down to the waist, just because I want the sleeve to line up. Not that it, like I said, I can always hem it straight, but that's what I'm doing. All right. Don't eat my fabric. My threads. Some of the underspun. I will redo that. Yana says, it would be nice for someone to make the Harley Quinn in her lab coat. And nice, Felicia. Well, thank you. That could be a version. The reason I went with this version is because I don't like wearing wigs. That's the truth about it. I probably would dye my hair over wearing a wig. And she has such distinct, amazing blonde hair that the hat seemed like an easier idea. And that's the truth of it. Okay, I think I missed. Okay, that's good. That's good. Right here, I knew it. Let me go from here to there. Okay, I just fixed my mistake without telling you guys what happened directly. I didn't catch some of my under fabric when I was sewing because it shifted ever so slightly. So I just went back and made sure I got it before sticking my arm in and seeing a giant hole. But sleeve, bodice, let's do the other side. Okay. Wolverine Scratch, what are you wearing for Halloween? Or maybe Harley Quinn, maybe. Well, for the Halloween live stream. For actual Halloween, we'll see. I never really think about it before Halloween. I've already been a skeleton though for a Halloween event that I went to, and then also for the corn maze because it was a costume without being a costume. Yanalith doesn't want to say it yet. Okay. This one. Yeah, I'm just going to go the opposite direction, go from the waistline seam to the ripped seam because it just, I'm feeling it right now. No logic, just I make up the rules as I go. Wolverine Scratch, what is Odin doing? I know, but it's a secret. Well, it's not that big of a secret, but this costume technically coordinates with, it's on theme. So you can guess from there. And Danda's junk. So far, Odin's and mine are a surprise. Well, everybody's is a surprise. I think mine's the only one that anyone knows is going to be because we announced it on the live stream. See on Saturday. Okay, so this is an actual bodice now. Okay, we have a bodice, we have bunts. I'm going to take the pants and turn them inside out. And I am leaving bodice right side out. And I'm going to put right sides together. Again, find my center front. Where's my front? Where's my back? This is my back. This is my front. Okay. Let me just put these. Why am I just said I turned this right side out and I'm turning it back inside out. Okay, so center front, center front, center back. Okay, center front right here to center front right here. Oh, perfect. All right, now to line up the Harley Quinn spot. Quinn spot. Okay, and then side seam is here. And seam allowances, I pushed to the back again on the waistline. Wolverine scratch, that looks pretty small. Well, I know it fits because this is the exact pattern, the one I'm currently wearing. So you can see the seam allowance, like it sews right here. This fits me. It is the pattern, where is it? This is the bodice pattern piece. This is my sleeve pattern piece. And this is one leg pattern piece. I feel like the legs look ginormous. Look at that. But then once you fold it in half, then you get into your legging. So hopefully everything works out. Yana, it might be best to have a zipper so you can use the bathroom. Making a onesie. Oops. Okay. Anyways, let me get this done because then I can be done. All right. Side seam. Side seam. Seam allowance towards the back, saying that out loud again. So this is technically what I'm making is called a unitard. Just trim this off. Okay. Set it back. You know, okay, if you have an accident, don't say it's my fault. I may or may not put a zipper in this. I might be lazy. We'll see. I can always make it better, but yeah. Okay, this all lines up perfectly. Go inside, inside, inside. Oops. Don't worry, I'm only live. Okay, so let me get this seam done. This is on this side. Okay. Okay. Wolverine scratch. Felicia, have you ever done Catwoman? Yes, I have. I just pinned that and it moved on me. That's okay. That's where I'm going to start sewing. Okay. Whew. All right. Now I can swim. I can sew around the perimeter. Now, sometimes I add elastic at the waistband, but this pattern fits so nicely, I'm not going to bother. Okay. Ionolith at Behind the Scenes Fashion. Was it the Halle Berry one or the Michelle Pfeiffer one? I've done both. We had a bunch of different versions at the costume shop. I've even done the 1960s one. That was one of, so at the costume shop, I always threw on costumes for fun. And my goal would be to sell the costume that I was wearing or a version of it. And Catwoman was always an easy one because she was a comfortable costume that was still warm when it got cold. Batman Returns is a Christmas movie. I can get behind that. Probably gonna have to redo that section I just sewed over. It doesn't feel like it's very well. Let me check. Okay. Technically I don't, but yeah, it's fine. Dan does show you should do Black Cat from Spider-Man, especially since her name is Felicia too. Love it. Yana, thumbs up. Eartha Kitt is still one of my favorite all-time Catwomen, or one of my all-time favorite Catwomen. Yeah, she's amazing. Gundam Wing Endless Something is also a Christmas movie. The emoji is blocking your comment. But there we have it. I heard a full-blown bodysuit. That is the same size as the one I'm wearing, so I know it fits. I'm sorry, y'all, that I'm not going to try it on live because this is not that kind of stream, just saying. So I have a full bodysuit. I have the stuff to make the rest of it. I am going to call it a stream here because it's been a minute. Anything before I go, but I have the bodysuit down. This is the front. This is the back. And I have the hat lining. I'm going to use this twill that I made. I can make little things. Now it's just time to accessorize. The fun part, right? The fun part. Okay. Dan does junk. Looking forward to seeing it Sunday as well as everyone else. Well, thank you. And Not Top, nice work. Thanks for sharing. Thank you very much, everybody, for being here. Thank you, Yanalith, Big Bob's Props, Yanalith, Wolverine Scratch, and anybody else that's here that I didn't mention. Thank you for joining me. Anything else that I missed? All right. Until next time. Thank you. Bye.